Hello and welcome to Marshall Gold Discovery State Historic Park. My name is Cynthia. I'm a senior park aide here, and I'm going to be giving you a demonstration of the gold panning that we give lessons for here at the park. So before we begin, I want to show you the main tool is this pan. You've all heard of a gold pan, of course. The pans that we use here have these three ridges. Do you see these three ridges here? We call them riffles. The riffles are important tools to help us capture the gold. And we capture the gold by using the most important property of gold, and that is that it's very, very heavy. Gold is 19.3 times heavier than the water we have in the trough here. It's 5 or 6 times heavier than the dirt and the sand. So we're going to use that weight along with these riffles to capture the gold with 3 techniques. And you'll see as we go along. We'll begin by getting a full pan of dirt. We want to get as much dirt as we can because that increases our odds. And you can see why I showed you the riffles beforehand, because now that I have so much dirt in here, you can't see them anymore, but my thumbs know where they are. So we're going to begin with the first of the 3 techniques. I call it the jiggle wiggle or the shimmy shake. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm basically agitating this dirt to drive the gold to the bottom of the pan. Notice how I'm keeping the pan in the water. We're going to allow the water to help us because water's our friend when we're panning. It's really rough to try and separate the gold from the dirt without water. The first time you do the shimmy shake is the most important. After the first time, you don't need to do it quite as long. So I've done it for about 30 seconds to a minute. That's long enough. I'm going to move on to the second technique, which I call the triple dip. Now remember those all-important riffles I was telling you about? They're facing forward, and I know they are there, and I'm going to use them to catch the gold as I get rid of the dirt. Just going to dip the pan 3 times and lose a lot of dirt off the top, and then go back to the shimmy shake. And I'm going to repeat those 2 until I have about a handful of dirt, and then we'll move on to the all-important third technique. Shimmy shake, triple dip, shimmy shake, triple dip. All right. I do have a few large stones, so I'm going to submerge the pan in water and use my hand as a rake to scrape them out. Look how careful I am to rinse them all, because I don't want to just grab a handful and throw it over. It could have gold in there, right? So we don't want to lose the gold. Okay, now I'm going to chase all the dirt into one side of the pan, and I'm going to demonstrate that all-important third technique. It's hard to verbalize, but if you watch, you can see every time I turn the pan, this swirling technique is drawing this orange sand away from this black sand. The miners back in the day, they called that black sand pay dirt. And it's actually magnetized sand, so it is related to metals. And when I have pay dirt, chances are I have the real McCoy underneath, which I do. Look at that beautiful, bright, shiny yellow gold. I'm going to place a little fool's gold next to it so you can see the difference. Look how much more silver the fool's gold is compared to the real gold. It's a very bright, bright yellow. I also, in my pan, got lucky, but I have another one here. We have garnets in the trough as well, as an homage to the discovery being in January. Garnet is the January birthstone. So I lucked out. I got some gold. I'm just going to work with 1 piece to give you an idea of what we do at this point. I'm going to lose the water, and I'm just going to work with 1 piece of gold. I'm going to chase it up onto one of our riffles, and then I'm going to set my pan down, and I'm going to grab my vial. Now with my vial, I'll just open the cap, pop it off, take a dry finger, so I've dried my finger really well, dry finger on the wet gold, it sticks to my finger, and now I'm going to plug the vial. If I scrape it, chances are I could lose the gold. About half the time it'll fly away. We don't want that, right? So we want it to get into the vial. We're going to ask the water to help one more time, and there we go. And I have a really nice example of the kind of gold that we can find here in our troughs. And that's the basics.